Hey, welcome to my channel. We're just taking a quick look through my watercolor painting journal here. Here's a recent plein air painting I did, and we're gonna look for a still life painting I did just the day before, and just trying to find a clean page where I'm not worried about the risk of my paints leaking through. And we're gonna study the greats today. Today we're gonna study Sanford Robinson Gifford. So Sanford Robinson Gifford, and on here you go. This is the painting that we're actually going to study. Not looking to replicate it exactly, but yeah, I found this painting by accident. I was looking through a painting group that I'm a member of on Facebook, of all things, and it is a Hudson River painting group, and somebody posted that they had seen that painting in the Thomas Cole house in his private collection, and I thought, wow. Yeah, that's kind of where I want to be right now. A nice, bright, sunny fall day under a tree canopy with all those amazing fall colors. So I've been looking at that painting for a few days now. I'd never had seen it before, although, as I'll explain in a little bit, Gifford has a lot of similar paintings, but nothing quite like that one. So we're going to look to study that. We're going to put down some notes in watercolor and then in casein on paper in my journal, trying to lower the cost associated with doing these studies, but still gain from the learning that comes with it. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of free flow, not really with any sort of game plan. I'm just going to observe the painting. I'll try and remember to put a little thumbnail image of it maybe in the upper right-hand corner of this video. We're going to use my watercolor set here, and we're not going to pay too much attention to accuracy of scale, color mixing, or anything like that. Just looking to use my intuition to follow along as closely as I can unscientifically, replicate a similar painting to this wonderful Gifford painting that I showed you. And we'll also share some thoughts about this incredible painter. So Sanford Robinson Gifford was an American landscape painter and a leading member of what's called the second generation of Hudson River School artists. He was highly regarded in his time, and he was considered to be a practitioner of Luminism, as his work was noted for its emphasis of light and soft atmospheric effects. So if you were to do a quick search of Gifford and look at his works, they're just amazing. They are absolutely amazing. I mean, I love nearly all of the work done within the Hudson River School genre, but his are special. I'm not sure I could accurately assess all the qualities that make it so, but what I observe are he has a really incredible use of color, clarity in his design of his paintings, and some consistency too, which we'll speak to in a moment. And in addition to that, he does get amazing light effects. So, really excited to maybe spend a little bit more time learning more about Gifford and his various works. So what I'm reading, actually largely based upon what I can see on Wikipedia, he was born in Greenfield, New York, the fourth of 11 children of a Quaker ironmaker. I think the father's name was Elihu Gifford, and his mother's name was Eliza Robinson Starbuck. He spent his childhood in Hudson, New York, and entered Brown University in 1842. He left college after his sophomore year and moved to New York City in 1845 to study art. He studied drawing, perspective, and anatomy under British watercolorist and drawing master John Reuben Smith, and took drawing classes at the National Academy of Design. He also studied the human figure in anatomy classes at the Crosby Street Medical College. Although he trained as a portrait painter, the first work Gifford exhibited at the National Academy was a landscape painting, or a series of landscape paintings in 1847. Thereafter, Gifford devoted himself primarily to landscape painting, becoming one of the finest artists of the Hudson River School. He was elected an associate of the National Academy in 1851 and an academician, easy for me to say, in 1854. Reading on, I see from Wikipedia, like most Hudson River School artists, Gifford traveled extensively to find landscape scenes to sketch and paint. In addition to exploring New England, upstate New York, and New Jersey, Gifford made extensive trips abroad. He first traveled to Europe in 1855 to 1857 to study European art and sketch subjects for future paintings. During this trip, he also met and traveled extensively with Albert Burstadt, another incredible painter, and Worthington Whitridge. Oh man, both those guys, their works are amazing. So what you see in the background here, before I pivot back to a little of the biographical information for Gifford, is I'm just laying in some really light colors in watercolor. These are largely watered down until just now, where I'm putting some broad strokes of some reds and some oranges, and I'm going to water those down a little bit too. I want soft edges and big shapes is what I'm thinking at this point, because I want to try and create the illusion of depth of field within and throughout the range of fall foliage in this scene. So I want the viewer, their eyes and their brain to automatically take these shapes that I'm laying in and create the illusion of there being a deep forest from within which light is filtering down, and those translucent leaves are filtering the sunlight in a way that's very special in the Northeast here in the fall as the leaves change. So I'll keep laying in these shapes, and I'll share a little bit more biographical information. What I found is that, in 1858, he traveled to Mount Mansfield, which is Vermont's tallest mountain, with his friend and fellow painter Jerome Thompson. Sketches made during their visit were published in the magazine Home Journal. Gifford painted some 20 paintings from the Vermont sketches. Of these, Mount Mansfield in 1858 was his primary work, exhibited in the National Academy of Design in 1859. Man, this guy was cooking. He had a lot going on. Thompson also exhibited a painting from Mount Mansfield in the same exhibition. Belated Party on Mansfield Mountain. Thompson's work is now owned by the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. Gifford served as a corporal in the 7th Regiment of the New York Militia during the Civil War, guarding Washington, D.C. and Baltimore from 1861 to 1863. A few of his canvases belonging to New York City's 7th Regiment and the Union League Club of New York are testament to this troubled time. During the summer of 1867, Gifford spent most of his time painting in the New Jersey coast, specifically at Sandy Hook and Long Branch. Wow, that's not too far from where I live here in the Poconos and where I grew up in Bergen County, and also where a lot of my family members live. According to an auction website, the mouth of Shrewsbury River, one of the noted canvases from this period, is a dramatic scene depicting a series of telegraph poles extending into an atmospheric distance underneath ominous storm clouds. I'm going to have to check that out. Another journey in his time with Jervis McEntee and his wife took him across Europe in 1868, leaving the McEntees behind. Gifford traveled to the Middle East, including Egypt, in 1869. And in the summer of 1870, Gifford ventured to the Rocky Mountains in western United States, this time with Worthington Whitridge and John Frederick Kensett. Wow, another great name. What a bunch of amazing painters. Check out their work. At least part of the 1870 travels were part of the Hayden expedition led by Ferdinand van Diver Hayden. And then there's a whole bunch of notes. This is amazing. There's so much good information here on Wikipedia about Gifford that goes into his methods. And I might have time to read a little bit about that in the remaining minutes. But you can see I've put the painting video on time-lapse speed now. And I'm starting to gradually work toward the darker values within the painting using splatters and strokes and varied amounts of pressure to create the indication of some of the darker values within the painting. And largely those darker values will be amongst those objects that offer a vertical plane blocking the sun. So they're largely, in most cases, in their own shadow, like the bigger tree trunks and also the rock formations, the portions of those that are in shadow. One of the things that I like about this painting that I don't normally do on my own, and you can see I've already made a mistake. There's a big blotch in the upper right-hand quadrant there in the painting that's an accident as I lay in some finer details like the outline shape of a body of a hiker or painter walking into the scene. That splotch there looks like a giant beehive, perhaps maybe a bear that's climbed a tree, or maybe an overweight owl. I don't know, but I'll have to tend to that later, let the paint dry at this point. One of the things about this painting that I appreciate is its composition and design. I'm not sure if I'll nail this or not with 100% accuracy, but if I put it in terms of Edgar Payne's composition of outdoor painting, I would say this is a little bit of a compound composition design, maybe an O or circle with a little bit of Steelyard and a subtle S influence with that pathway walking through it. But I certainly hope to have many moments like this one in the upcoming fall season where I can get out, hike, and paint, spend some time out in the wilderness. Maybe you will too. Let me know if that's the case. I hope you enjoyed this session, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Take great